Come on, BTC.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is the 28th of October, 2024. It's 11 a.m. Central European time. It is absolutely freezing here. I'm sitting here. I am cold. Every part of my body is freezing, but I am not complaining. We have a lot to get through today. It is a Monday. Normally on a Monday, we don't have a lot to talk about, but we do today. Before we even get onto the news, we are going to have a look at some X-Files. We're going to have a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, the DXY, and we're going to look at the CME gap. Find out where the CME gap is and see if there's any difference, see if it's going to pump us any higher or any lower than where we are today. Then we're going to get into the news and we are going to talk about Microsoft and the vote to hold Bitcoin in their treasury. We're going to talk about the flippening, why it never happened, the Tether FUD that was over the weekend. We're going to talk about Sol. We're going to talk about Willy Woo. We're also going to talk about the top 10 GameFi tokens. That's going to be fun because, as you know, I cannot stand any of them. Now, all of that in an hour and the markets, but something I need to tell you about for Wednesday. This is the Mew Trick or Treat Night. This is on October the 30th, 7 p.m. Central European Time, 6 p.m. in the UK. This is likely to go ahead, but we have a weather warning here which starts tonight at about 10 p.m. and runs through until probably Wednesday. Now, luckily, I think the storm will have passed by Wednesday, but if it doesn't, we might delay the Halloween stream maybe to Friday. I don't know yet. We need to see what the weather does, but we have to get all of our reasonably expensive equipment into the studio and set up. And that's a good 20-minute walk in torrential rain. It's not a good idea. So Wednesday, October the 30th, we should be streaming the Mew night. We will be giving away Mew on that night. We're going to give it away maybe 4, maybe 5 lucky winners. And those of you that have been winning, you're probably up about 50, 60, 70% now on the last Mew night. So hold on to it. A few good mornings then. Kishan, Hidden, Velvet, Solo Sky, Cyberpunk Danny, KB, welcome back. I hope you are all well. That's enough of that nonsense. Bottom right-hand corner, $74,000 target. It's been there since about 1962. We are going to hit it at some point. Title of the show today, Spooktober. 28, 29, 30, 31. 4 days left. Is Bitcoin going to give us the willies? Okay. Or are we going to get a gust of wind? Are we going to blow the sheet off and find out it was the caretaker all along? We're going to have to wait and see. Bottom left-hand corner, we're edging ever closer to 200,000 followers. Make sure to give us a follow. Let's get on with the show. Less chatting, more charts, more talk. Volume, decent for a Monday. Bitcoin dominance, ETH dominance has gone up a touch. I think we were at about 60.9, 61. We're now at 61.4. That is edging ever so closely up. Bitcoin coming in at 68.5. There's a reason for that. We're going to look at the CME gap. That'll tell us why we're at 68.5. Ethereum still below 2,600. Tether, the worst investment you'll ever make if you want to make a profit. Hasn't moved from $1 in 6 years. BNB still under $600. Solana bucking the trend. If you look above, you will see it is outperforming Ethereum, outperforming Bitcoin. And we know that BNB got very excited this year, but that was because they introduced, I think it was 1, 2, and 3 month staking was introduced for BNB. So it had a massive rally. I was buying it at $200 last year, so it's had a big rally. Solana, though, coming in at 177. It's looking good. The target was 164 that I had. We smashed it. We're at 177. I'll go and maybe have a look at the chart if we've got time. XRP, again, not doing an awful lot. There's some fake news going around about the case being closed. Now, I can't find any evidence to say that the judge, Torres, has decided against the court case. They have said that it could just be the SEC filing paperwork and they are not trying to appeal. That's all up in the air. We just need some clarity, but I wouldn't be buying XRP based on hearsay and rumor. Let's look at the gainers then. What has been glorious today? Mantra is up at 140. Again, 80 to 90 cents. I was telling you to buy that coin. I think it's getting a little bit high at 140. We don't know where it will top out in the bull run. Maybe it will go to 4 or 5 billion, but we're getting to the stage of the season where we probably have 12 months left of the bull run. it's still time to get these coins, but your returns are not going to be 50x's. Look at the return on Mantra this year. Nearly 2,300%. So I don't expect Mantra to do that next year. Audi is up, Aave, Thor, and then a few meme coins are up. Excuse me. Let's have a look at what is down. Goat. Sui is down a touch. Remember what I said about Sui? Wait for the retracement. If you don't hold Sui and you want to hold Sui, you get in when it retraces. It's coming down. It's a nice retracement, this. 173. We'll look at the charts if we've got time and see where we said that should come down to. I think we said 156 or 165, something like that. Athena is down. Cat in a new world, cat in a dog's world, that is down. But look at the price action year to date, 450% up. Not bad for a meme coin. Celestia, Say, Tron, BitGet, all down. Now, Mr. Cowan, Ben Cowan put out a video about Bitcoin dominance, which we're not going to go over, but he was mentioning the fact that meme coins, if you've owned meme coins this year, then you have underperformed against Bitcoin. Most people in meme coins have lost money. Now, that's simply not true, okay? If you'd backed the meme coins we've talked about on this channel and others, you would have outperformed Bitcoin. Cat in a dog's world being one, Hotcat being another, Mog, I believe, being another. They've all outperformed Bitcoin. If you degen into a pre-sale or a $10,000, $100,000 meme coin that's just come out, you're likely to get wrecked. But if you follow the rules, you're not likely to get wrecked. And that's the difference between blindly doing something and using a simple set of rules. They don't even have to be my rules. You can have your own rules. Set a minimum market cap. Pick a narrative that works. AI memes are going to be the next big thing. So pick some AI memes, but don't pick the ones like GOAT that have topped out. See what comes along that's broken 100, 200,000, a million. That's what you need to do. Anyway, moving on to prepare for the Joker's movie. Joaquin Phoenix watched the Bitcoin and watched it trade at $65,000 for 7 months straight. I don't know whether to laugh or cry at that meme, but it is fairly accurate. Remember, if you are here, smash the like button, say hello in chat, let me know you are watching. Bitcoin is an international asset. It's not based on anyone's currency. BlackRock's CEO understands the power of Bitcoin decentralization by buying 1 million of it and locking it in the same place. The irony is not lost on me. It shouldn't be lost on you. Of course, I'm talking about the decentralization of the miners, but it's still ironic that he wants to buy it all and talk about decentralization. Again, I find it funny. Humour me. Bitcoin's massive liquidity cluster is sitting at $70,000 plus. We only have 1 full week left until the elections. It will be interesting to see if the market will try and get that liquidity prior to it. I'm assuming as long as price trades right below, it will try to do so. I am going to look at this when we get onto the CME chart, because I know the CME chart is not strictly the Bitcoin chart. It is different. It doesn't work on Saturdays and Sundays. It only works in certain hours. But there is a price in all Bitcoin charts that we have to break. If we don't break it, we're going to come down, and that's the key. Now then, there are 22,878 Bitcoin left to buy for the ETFs to own 1 million. Now, I covered this probably 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, when we said that the ETFs would hit 1 million Bitcoin by Halloween. 28, 29, 30, 31. Thursday, we have 4 days in which to buy 23,000 Bitcoin. In a good week, we buy 30,000. So I think we are still on to hit 1 million. Why is that so important? Because Satoshi owns 1 million Bitcoin. So they would overtake Satoshi on Halloween. Again, symbolic? Not really. But is it memorable? Yes, of course. Halloween is memorable, so is New Year's Day, so is Valentine's Day, all of those different things. And according to Plan B, if you follow Plan B, it's ready. Bitcoin is ready. Now, we always know that for some reason Satoshi timed the halving to coincide with the US elections. I don't know why. Maybe Satoshi knew that markets pumped in an election. Maybe he just timed it to be symbolic. I don't know. But we are nearly there. Okay? Now, by being nearly there, I do not mean that we are nearly there for the end of the bull run. I mean we're nearly there for the start of the next move up, the next chapter. And this is edging ever closer. Bitcoin dominance. Look at Bitcoin dominance. Now, I made a video at the weekend. It was called Ethereum, The Reckoning. Okay, a proper Ridley Scott title for that video. It was made solely for the members. It wasn't made for the general public. I'm not going to go through what I went through in that video about Ethereum, but it is based a lot on what happens to Bitcoin. And we're at 59.45%. I strongly believe that if we do get to 70,000 today, tomorrow, Halloween, we will hit 60% Bitcoin dominance. Now, the one giveaway in the video is we may not go to 60% and stop. We may go to 61%, 62%. There is no hard and fast rule that say we hit 60%. The person who says we'll hit 60% and retrace is Ben Cowan. I said 58.2%. I'm wrong. Ben Cowan is likely to be wrong. But they're not meant to be hard and fast rules. They are guides. So if we hit 60% this week, we still have November and December left to go. We could edge even higher. We could go to 62 or 63%. I'm sure some of you out there will have your own targets for where Bitcoin dominance will go. But the point of the matter is that the alts will not run until the Bitcoin dominance breaks down. Okay? And that's soon. Okay? It's not now, but 59.45% already. My line takes us to 61% by the end of the year. There is no hard and fast rule that says we will get to the end of the year and on January the 1st breakdown. Again, it's a guide. It might happen on January the 25th. It might happen on January the 9th. There's no hard and fast rule. Okay? So, we will go somewhere near 60%. We will break down somewhere near January or February. They are guides. And when we break down, the alts will absolutely rip. But Bitcoin dominance has to carry on for now. Now, the DXY is doing exactly the opposite of what we wanted. We wanted this breakdown. And what did we get? We got a breakthrough. Now, this is obviously fighting Bitcoin, okay? We want a weak US dollar for Bitcoin to rip, and it hasn't. Now, we do have plenty of other examples here where it has broken up for a period, and I think I have done this and found them to be almost the same move. I think this one's a bit shorter, it is, yeah. So they're almost the same move. It doesn't mean anything, it just means that the last two pumps of the DXY have resulted in a similar size move to now. So what we could do is we could look at maybe topping out and coming back down and retesting the bull market support band like we did here. That's what we would love to see. We don't want the DXY to just suddenly decide it's going to go back to 106. Okay, it doesn't sound an awful lot, it's massive. So the DXY is broken up, it's broken out of the channel, it started to break up back on 2nd of October. So that is pretty much 4 weeks almost of this move. Again, go back to this was the 8th of March to about the 11th of April. So that's about a 35-day move. We could see another week maybe of a move up and then a breakdown, or it could just keep going. We don't want it to go higher, but when it does break down, it might add a bit more fuel to Bitcoin's fire. Not one single thing is responsible for the Bitcoin price. It is made up of many different things. Good morning, KB, welcome to the stream. So where are we? Well, this is where we are with the CME gap. Now, CME gap was at 69.8, I believe. As you can see, the market is open. So what does that mean? It means that there are gaps because the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, it closes on a Friday and opens on a Monday. And what it does is it makes these gaps here, okay? These gaps in the price of Bitcoin, okay? You see smaller ones over here, you see huge ones over here. And the story goes that these gaps have to fill. And if we go back and we look at some of the smaller ones, they do fill, but it doesn't mean they always fill. Now today was, as I said, 69.8. I think we could move up to 69.8 today. But the one thing that was interesting that I have tried to draw a line on here is the tops on the CME gap, which is only Monday to Friday. That comes in at 70,900. We're going to look at the Bitcoin chart in a minute. Just remember, later on, 70,900. That's the number that I think we need to crack to get into the next leg up. If we get rejected, we may come straight back down. Okay? That's what we need to look at today, and hopefully we'll go through that in a minute after we've gone through this. But remember 70,900. The reason I like that CME gap chart, by the way, is the tops line up a lot nicer than they do on the Bitcoin chart itself. Bitcoin's interesting, Microsoft interest in Bitcoin is a turning point for corporate investment. Anthony Pompliano. Now, this gentleman, okay, and I'm not going to have a go at him, never met the guy. He had a show very similar to BitBoy Ben. He'd come on, he'd have his guys, they'd talk about crypto, they'd do this, they'd do that, and then suddenly he disappeared, and his show disappeared. And then he came back in a suit, clean shaven, nice tie, and now he's become this kind of reborn again type of individual who's interviewing a different class of individual as well. And I don't know whether Alexa can change its spots. I don't know whether it's just a huge act, to be honest with you. But anyway, beside the point. Microsoft have an AGM coming up, and one of the investors has added a key vote. And that vote is, does it actually have the list of the vote? Organizations realize they can solely rely on dollars for long term. With value retention, digital assets like Bitcoin will see increased adoption. Does it actually have the specific vote? It doesn't. Okay. Basically, companies have what's called a treasury. Treasury is full of cash. Microsoft, Apple, Google, they have loads and loads of dollars sitting in bank accounts, losing value because of inflation. And what Tesla did was they went out and bought whatever it was, $1 billion of Bitcoin some time ago. Microsoft, one of their shareholders, has asked if they could keep some of their treasury in Bitcoin as an inflation hedge. And the board have said, please don't vote for this, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Okay. However, who is the biggest shareholder in Microsoft? It's BlackRock. What does BlackRock have? It has the largest ETF, Bitcoin ETF, out of the 7 or the 8. Now, BlackRock owns a huge share of every company in the top 50 in America. If BlackRock vote for this, they are, in my opinion, it's a conflict of interest and they should abstain, but that's not going to happen. I think BlackRock are going to make the AGMs of all of these big companies be about Bitcoin. And I think some of these they'll win and some of these they'll lose. Maybe they don't have enough of a vote in some of these companies to push it through. In others, they will have. But it doesn't matter. They are making Microsoft talk about Bitcoin. They will make Apple talk about Bitcoin and Google. Don't think this is a fad. This is something that has been orchestrated and one will crack. And when that one cracks, the rest will crack, because shareholders care about the value of their stocks. They do not care about the politics behind the company. They want their $100 billion that Microsoft has in its treasury, they want it to stay with a value of $100 billion and go up over time with profits. They don't want to see it going to 98, 96, 92, 90 billion because inflation eats away at it. So this is a turning point because of the strategy of BlackRock, in my opinion, not the strategy. Microsoft haven't recommended this. That's where I think the headline is misleading. A shareholder has voted, has asked for this to be voted, okay? So be careful. The board have said they don't want to do this, but the shareholders get to decide. And it might not go through with Microsoft, but it might very well go through with Apple or Google. So keep an eye on this, because this is going to come up every week, every other week. The AGM season is upon us. AGMs are normally October, November, December. So the AGMs are upon us. We could see this in the future. Now, before we move on, actually, I better go look at the real Bitcoin chart. Good morning, Tariq and Bullish Bull. Welcome back. Glad you are with us. I will do a reminder about the Halloween special towards the end, when it's going to be and what we're going to do on it. I'll do that at the end, because it's fast approaching. Halloween is fast approaching. Now then, where are we with Bitcoin? Okay. We have this breakout from the downtrend. Remember where I circled and I said, this is where Bitcoin needs to be this weekend? Do you remember me saying that on Friday? I said, this is where I want Bitcoin to be at the start of next week. Now, many of you will have doubted me when we were going down towards the lows. Mike said we would be over 68, 68 and a half. He'd be wrong. Well, Bitcoin came through on Sunday and Monday, and now we're back at 68.6. But this is not the battle. This is not where we need to break. We need to break, first of all, 69,000. Now, do you remember that line I told you that we needed to break? So let's get rid of that one. It's there. Okay? 70,100. The CME chart is 70,900. Trades different times. I think we need to clear 70,000 and then clear 70,900. Okay? And I think we need to do it and hold it. If we don't, and we go into a volatile week, we are, what are we, October 3, November the 5th, 8 days we have until the election, do we not? Okay? It's going to get wild. And I think the volatility around the election is going to have a massive impact on the S&P. It's going to have a massive effect on the crypto charts. And remember what we say, these whales and moneymakers, they use narratives to try and push the charts, okay? And yes, people say, oh, it's a tinfoil hat, these people don't exist or whatever. No, but the market sentiment can change very quickly. If a new poll comes out on Friday, and that says that Kamala Harris is now favourite to win the election, my opinion is that Bitcoin does that and comes down back into the range. Okay? They are trying everything in their power to win this election. Rightly or wrongly, they're trying everything. And it might work, you know. CNBC carried an absolutely abhorrent story last night. It was disgraceful what they did, and that's a sign of desperation. Now that means to me maybe that Trump is going to win because of what they said last night. I think the further away they go from the truth, the less and less people follow them, and I think they're doing it in the wrong way. They should come more to the centre to pick up the centre vote. The same with The same with any election. If you go too far to one extreme, you lose the middle ground. So anyway, I think if a fake poll comes out, I think we could wick back down, and we could get rejected at 69 today. We could get rejected at 70,000. But this area up here, this is now the new battleground for me. And it's psychologically breaking 70,000 is more important than it having any previous price action. Okay, we can go up here and talk about breaking 71. We can talk about breaking the all-time high. But for me, 70,000 psychologically is going to be a challenge. And yes, we've got the 70,100 line. The CME line is 70,900. That range there, 70,100, 70,900. We need to somehow get over this and do this and go up. Okay, that's the move we need. That's the move we want. Now, everybody you're going to watch is going to tell you that we're going to rip up. We're going to go to 72, 74,000 this month and the start of November. But we have another 8 days of politics. That takes us to November the 5th. We have another live stream on November the 6th. Okay, on a Wednesday night live stream, and that is going to be the Kronos special. We may extend it and do an hour and a half and do the first half an hour on the Bitcoin chart, because it could very well be absolutely wild on the 6th. But whatever happens, if we don't do this, are we not just replicating every other time we've come up to a high? And would we not just come back down again? There's no God-given right that Bitcoin is going to go up to 86,000, 85,000 at the end of the year. There's no God-given right that's going to happen. Based on every other cycle that we've had, it is going to go up. But it doesn't mean it has to happen. If there is a geopolitical event, a contested US election, for example, then we will dump. Okay? It doesn't mean we're going to be out of the bull run, doesn't mean it's over. Be careful. This next 8 days are very dangerous for traders, in my opinion. Leverage is going to be something you shouldn't even be thinking about before the 6th of November. It's a very tricky time. If you want to buy and come into crypto now, let's say you're new and you don't know what to do. You dollar cost average in, okay? You take, let's say you have $1,000, and that $1,000 you want to put into Bitcoin, okay? You divide that $1,000 into 10 $100 blocks, and starting today, okay, Monday, you put $100 in. Next Monday, $100 in. And then by the beginning of December, the first couple of weeks in December, you should have the majority of your money in, and you should have ridden out any volatility. If you're going to try and do leverage over the next 8 days, and then you go and watch crypto streamers who are telling you to long Bitcoin or short Bitcoin or long Ethereum, short Ethereum, just be careful. You don't know what's going to come out. You don't know whether the Democrats have a plan for the next 8 days that could tank the markets and tank crypto. So because of that unknown, be careful. That's all I'm saying. Yes, we could be at 71,000 tomorrow. We could be at 70,000 tomorrow. We could all be wrong, but just be careful. That's all I'm saying. I'm not a soothsayer. Now, this type of stuff, which I'm about to show you next, this FUD, I thought we'd got rid of this FUD. This was the FUD that was happening 3 or 4 years ago. Okay? And to be fair, a lot of it was aimed at CZ. A lot of it was aimed at certain other chains. And there was a lot of FUD going around about this, that, and the other. And you know, we need to be careful. We need to, you know, crypto is a scam, all of these things. Luckily, this rumor, which did bring the market down, yes, and other things that happened in the Middle East did bring the market down on, I think, Saturday. But there are no IPO plans, as I think it's Paolo was his name. Paolo Alderino, or was it Paolo Arden? Donio, I don't know. We'll call him Paolo. Okay, let's call him Paul. Make it easy. Okay, a rumor came out from the Wall Street Journal that Tether, which runs USDT, was under investigation by the SEC, and there are no plans for the IPO. There will be an IPO in the future. Just because he says it now, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen in the future. Okay, take things in the time that they are said. There's no IPO. There are no rumors. Sorry, there are no hard facts. There are only rumors about this Tether investigation. Tether did come out and state how much it had in reserves, and it's also got, by the way, I think it was 8 tons. I think they've got 8 tons of physical gold in their reserves, on top of the cash reserves, on top of the treasury reserves. So again, I don't know where this FUD came from, and because journalists these days can protect their sources, it's very difficult to know if this is a paid hit piece. Okay, and before you say it's tinfoil hat, Sam Bankman-Fried had every article, every journalist in their pocket. He paid the owner of one magazine over $2 million to write hit pieces about CZ. So before you say it's all rumors, this is a genuine article from the Wall Street Journal, and this is an honest to good journalist, don't believe everything you read, okay? Wait for the facts to come out. If the SEC come out today and say they're investigating Tether, there's your news, okay? Not a rumor, okay? There's a rumor I'm going to go to Mars. What percentage chance would you put on that rumor? Very little. Okay, so don't believe all these rumors. It did shake the market, but 3 years ago, it would have shook the market for a long time. This didn't do that. That's a positive sign. Also, the Elon effect, which we had 4 years ago, that's gone. Elon used to tweet about Bitcoin or Doge or whatever, and everything would rip. We don't have that anymore. That's a positive sign as well. So just be careful. Now, have I missed out an article? The flippening. I've missed out the flippening article. Let's go back. And again, this is like a history lesson today. We've had Tether FUD, which we've not had for years. And then we've got the flippening. Okay, now for those of you... I think we're back. That was a quick one. Okay. Now, Saturday, we had a power cut. And it killed one of my streams after literally 3 minutes. Okay. So given the weather, over the next few days, I would imagine we are likely to see some kind of power cut. So I am just making you aware that might happen. Okay, so the flippening, what was it? It was where the market cap of Ethereum was going to overtake the market cap of Bitcoin. That's what I was talking about. Hopefully you have heard that part. Now, Bitcoin is $1 trillion more than Ethereum. It was never going to happen. It was wishful thinking. But again, the one thing I would say about the flippening was that at the time people talked about the flippening, the Bitcoin and the Ethereum market caps were a lot lower than they are now. And it was probably easier to see a flippening. Now remember, we're talking about the market cap, not the price. We weren't talking about Bitcoin being worth $15,000 and Ethereum being worth $16,000. We were talking about the sum of all the Ethereum versus the sum of all the Bitcoin and what that price is going to be. So that didn't happen. Now, way back when I started, I think Ethereum was 0.1 of Bitcoin. So for 10 Ethereum, you could buy 1 Bitcoin. As of today, you would need 30, give or take, 30 Ethereum to buy 1 Bitcoin. So Ethereum really has lost value against Bitcoin. But remember, we're at the point of the market where Bitcoin dominance is going up and up and up, and nothing is going to compete with it. And everybody is calling Ethereum dead. I do not believe Ethereum is dead. And Ethereum is doing what it did in the last bull run. Okay, it's doing no different. And I think sitting at $2,400, $2,500, $2,600 is mega bullish. And I'm not going to tell you what my price predictions were. That was in the video for the OGs. I give them information that I don't give out publicly, but I think Ethereum is not going to have a bad run. Ethereum's highly anticipated merge happened in September. It's lost 50% of its value against Bitcoin. Again, don't read too much into that, because from November 2021, which was the peak, from the start of 2022, Bitcoin has been on a rip for almost 3 years. So I wouldn't read too much into that. I think it's unfair. Several of crypto's most bullish catalysts have been Bitcoin-centric. In March, digital gold, forget that, it's nonsense. Bitcoin's dominance has reclaimed multi-years highs. Again, that is absolutely nonsense. It's part of the cycle. In the previous cycle, Bitcoin ran up to 73%. We're in a different cycle now. We have more stable coins. We have more coins in general. We're not going to go to 73%. I think going to 62% is a really positive sign for Bitcoin. So Ethereum's lackluster performance, you could change out the word Ethereum and put in the majority of other coins. You could put Chainlink in there. You could put ICP, which a lot of people don't like, AVAX, right? Well, certainly Cardano's in there. XRP hasn't moved. XRP is a 50-cent stablecoin. So be careful. The only thing that ETH lacks right now is confidence. This can change overnight. And again, I'm not going to bring up my Ethereum chart on this because I think it's unfair. I've put some notes on there for the OGs. But basically, you shouldn't write off any chain that is currently being built on. That includes Charles. Now, I haven't included it today, but there was a very interesting conversation where Charles was talking about how ADA and Bitcoin can interact. Now, they're both built on a similar system. And this time next year, you will be able to transact on the Bitcoin blockchain and pay the gas fees with ADA. Okay? So in answer to the question that somebody asked the other day, what's the point of using Cardano to trade Bitcoin or work with Bitcoin? There will be benefits for Cardano holders when this proper connection goes live. And I'm bullish on it, but I'm also bullish on many of the things connected up to Bitcoin. It's one of those where we have to wait and see. But again, is Ethereum ever going to overtake Bitcoin? No. Will there be a time in the next 5 years where there will be a crypto asset worth more than Bitcoin? I certainly doubt it. Okay? It has ETFs. It has institutional money. It's seen by everybody as the next big asset. Okay? When gold came online, gold came online. That's just the way it is. I'd bet a lot of money that no one will ever use that feature on ADA. Listen, we don't know, okay? I never say never. I'm preparing a video, and it's comparing the Kronos chain to the BNB smart chain, BSC smart chain, right? Blow for blow, there is no comparison between Kronos and the smart chain. They're not even in the same league. It's like comparing Port Talbot Town Football Club to Chelsea Football Club. They're not even in the same league, okay? Chelsea's under-19s could probably beat Port Talbot. The under-16s would probably give Port Talbot a run, okay? But there is always going to be shifts in narratives, okay? If this connection becomes successful and it becomes the most important one, then believe you me, the likes of BlackRock don't care if it's Ethereum or Cardano. They will go after Bitcoin. I'm not saying it's going to happen. You're probably going to be right. But what's Cardano missing? Okay, everybody talks about meme coins on Solana. I don't use them. I use the DeFi products. I think Solana's DeFi products are head and shoulders above everybody else's. Okay, that's just the way I see things. Now, a lot of people will argue Ethereum is better. I prefer the UI of Solana. I prefer the way that I can, get decent returns on coins. That's missing from Cardano. So Cardano has meme coins, doesn't have liquidity. Where does liquidity come from? Money on the chain. Where does money on the chain come from? DeFi, and a reason to be there. So I think Cardano is missing a few tricks, yes, but I think this is massively bullish. If they do it and they pull it off, it will work. Now, why Solana cannot become the global blockchain backbone? Interesting article, this. BlackRock is going to build their own layer 2. Yeah, they will. They'll build it. Everybody's going to build their own layer 2. We've seen another exchange, which I can't mention on here. They're going to build their own layer 2. Ondo are going to be involved. And I was looking at Ondo again last night to try and find what new products they were about to launch, and they simply seem to be stuck with BlackRock, and that's not a bad thing. But not only are BlackRock building their own layer 2, they're also going to build their own DEX, which will have real-time stock exchange access, and they will build you will be able to trade 365 days of the year through BlackRock. And that's what they want. They want to cut out the middleman. We've talked about Visa cutting out banks. Visa are going straight to the wallets. So therefore you don't need your bank account. So Visa are getting more of the pie. BlackRock's going to want more of the pie. But don't think that BlackRock won't want all of the pie. I've said this before. They've got Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that'll do them for now. But they will want Solana, and they will want everything else that gives them 95% of Bitcoin. That's what they want. So if ADA does have a connection to Bitcoin, believe you me, they will find a way of getting access to that liquidity, because they don't care about Cardano. They want the liquidity, and if Cardano offers the best way to tap into the Bitcoin liquidity, that's the way they'll go. If they think Solana is a good opportunity, they'll go that way. And as we've seen with Drift Protocol, they have some of the Ondo products on there. So BlackRock don't care. You've got money, they'll go and get your money. They don't care if it's on Sui. They won't care. Right then, why won't Solana become the backbone? It cannot become because of centralization, bandwidth needs, and lack of client diversity. Solana struggles to match Ethereum. Boo. That's not good, is it? Let's have a read. Solana has a fair amount of challenges that need to be overcome before becoming the backbone of the new global financial system. I don't think Solana is ever going to become the backbone of the financial system. I've said time and time again, it's going to be Ethereum. One of the key limitations, it lacks economic decentralization. Only 2% of SOL was sold publicly with a huge insider allocation. Who has written this? Who has written this article? There is no author of this article. William. I was going to crack open a song there from the Smiths, but I'm not really going to do that. This contrasts with Ethereum, which is highly decentralized via proof of work model at scale. Now, again, while this contrasts with Ethereum, which is highly decentralized via its proof of work model, when was this written? 27th of October this year. But Ethereum isn't proof of work. Ethereum is proof of stake. And one of the problems with Ethereum being proof of stake right now is the fact that Vitalik is trying to solve the problem where I would call it proof of wealth. The more Ethereum you have, the more power you have. So I don't know, maybe it was a typo. Maybe people don't read articles anymore. Solana has recently been successful in some niche markets. Ethereum Layer 2 scaling model makes it a better choice for corporations and governments. Again, one of the problems that Ethereum does have is the majority of its volume is coming from its DeFi products, not directly from itself. It slashed all the fees that Layer 2s pay to use Ethereum, so it's making less money, and the Layer 2s are starting to take over. But again, that's the direction that they want to go in, you know, the merge, the splurge, the purge, whatever else they call them, the dirge. So that's what it's trying to go. And we do want less and less transactions directly on Ethereum. Without decentralized data capability, Solana cannot achieve resilience, both regulatory and network. Thus, Ethereum further reinforces its approach to decentralization through the diversity of its clients. But I think this is a hit piece. I don't agree with that. Yeah, I don't agree with any of this. I don't think anybody thinks that Solana will become the backbone of the financial institutions at all. I don't think we're anywhere near that. I think Solana is going to be retail, which I've said 10 times before. Solana is going to be retail, Ethereum is going to be TradFi, and I do not see the problem with that whatsoever, because what feeds into retail is TradFi. So build your apps over on the Ethereum layer 2s, use it for institutional transactions. They've been doing that for a long time. Build different layer 2s on top of Ethereum. It's it's resilient, it's stable. Solana does go down. It's got 99.9% uptime, but it does go down. And again, I wouldn't be choosing Solana. I would want a product that applies itself to both. I would want, if I was Larry Fink, I would turn around and say, listen, I want you to go and build an app that gets me all of the liquidity from the top 5 to 10 chains, and then we'll look at everything else. That's what I would want. You're going to start with Ethereum and all of its layer 2s and its ecosystem. That's where you're going to start. Then you're going to move on to Solana. You'd be mad not to move on to Solana. But then when you've got Solana, you look at the next front runners. And in answer to, what's it called? Bluff City Breaks, my argument would be, if Cardano gets its act together, if it gets this connection to Bitcoin and people start to use it because it's a really good solution, then BlackRock will go after Cardano. If it doesn't, and Sui becomes the next big thing, it will go after Sui. Or it might think of Ton. It might go and look at the Ton chain and say, you know what? It's got 600 million people using it. We'll tap into that. We'll give them all a savings account and pay them 4%. They'll go after the money. Where is the largest concentration of money on the different blockchains? We will go and we will get that. And that is how I think they will play out. Now, this next article is something that I've also been saying on here for a long time, which is, I'm not going to agree with Willy Woo on everything, because I don't. I think Willy Woo says things. The only thing people will use is base. Again, base is going to be used. I'm going to also throw base into the equation when I talk about Chronos and BSC as well, because base doesn't have a native token. It's fed users from the centralized exchange. It's got coins. It's got meme coins. It's got dexes. Again, if they can do that in a year, why is Chronos 4 years down the line and only got 6,000 daily users? But anyway, different topic. So altcoin seasons will be weaker moving forward, says analyst. Willy Woo says the altcoin market cap is like a cricket bat that has 10 new handles and 10 new blades. My reasoning why I don't think that we're going to have such strong alt seasons is more to do with the fact that where the money in Bitcoin currently is. And as of Halloween, as we've said, 1 million Bitcoin will be in ETFs. That's 1 million Bitcoin that will not be sold and exchanged for the likes of Ethereum or Solana. So what normally happens is Bitcoin tops out, people will sell Bitcoin, and let's say they buy Ethereum, and let's say they buy Solana, or let's say they buy XRP and whatever else is up there, Ton, and the money flows from Bitcoin into the alts. If that money that's in Bitcoin isn't in the circulating supply because it's locked away in a cold storage wallet, then for me, that will mean that the Bitcoin price has to go obviously a lot higher to bring that amount of money back into alts. That's an issue that I've brought up. If we get to the next bull run and we've got 3 million, including America owning a fourth million, what's the alt season going to look like? Where does the money coming into the market from? Where does that money come from to pump the alts? And as Willy Woo was pointing out here, if we've now got 200 alts to consider, and 4 years ago we had 60 or 70 alts to consider, how is that money going to swill around enough to pump 200 alts where it was pumping 60 alts last bull run? So it's kind of like, how many coins, how many meme coins, how many NFTs are too many? I've said that for the last 2 years. If you've got 100 coins, which is going to be the winner? It's a lot harder to pick than if you've got 5 or 6 coins to pick. You've got 1 in 5, 1 in 6 chance. Now you've got a 1 in 100. Although most will go up, I don't see anywhere near every coin hitting all-time highs this bull run. I cannot see some coins getting halfway towards their previous bull run top. I can't see it. And that doesn't mean that we're going to have a bad alt season. It just means I don't think everything is going to rip the 50x that people expect. Right then, so Willy Woo probably said the same thing down here. Alt seasons will probably keep coming, but they will get weaker each cycle. From the great 2017 bubble, Willy Woo opined in the 26th of October post, the year when the boom of initial coin offerings, a rise of capital. Willy Woo clarified he's not saying there won't be alt seasons. There will certainly be mid-cap and low-cap cryptocurrencies pumping after Bitcoin's price surges as they chase returns higher up on the risk curve. Traders usually watch for signs that Bitcoin dominance has peaked, hence to start rotating capital into altcoins, and that's what happens. The money that's in Bitcoin goes to alts. When Bitcoin dominance tops out, that's when you get the alt season. It's not the same money, it's not different money that goes into the alts. It's the same pot of money swimming around that gets Bitcoin to a certain price and then flows out. And my argument is, if a large proportion of that new money is in ETFs, it's not going to go into alts. There's a bit of a problem. Bitcoin's dominance 59.3. He claimed that the current alt cycle is shaping to be about meme coins, which is a Mickey take on the crypto space. He opposed those made by Greenspan, found that upcoming bull run will be about Bitcoin and its layer 2s. He warns against hodling altcoins. No pretense that it's trying to be disruptive world-changing tech, just an honest bubble casino. Don't ever hodl them unless you're so knowledgeable that you're an effective insider, because alts are insiders games just like a casino. Good advice. Also remember, alt market is like a cricket bat that had 10 handles and 2 new blades. It's the sum of all the new winners. Losers don't count towards the market cap. Traders often believe, we talk about that. Now, again, I totally agree with this to some extent, but I do believe that we are going to see an $8 to $10 trillion total market cap. I do think we're going to see a good run. Remember, we're already at, what are we at, what's the total market cap right now? 2.3? 2.33, okay. So I'm talking potentially about a 3x to 4x in total. And if we follow the previous cycle, Bitcoin goes on a good run, we get to 120, 140,000. That's going to add at least another 1.5 trillion to that. So that puts us at what, 4 trillion without any other movement. I do think we can go a bit higher this bull run. I think the FOMO kicks in. When it kicks in, we spike for 2 months. From the start to the end, it was about 2 months. So when we talk about an $8 to $10 trillion market cap, we're talking about a very small period of time. We're not talking about from June next year until 2029. We're talking about a 2-month period. Maybe October the 1st to December the 1st next year. That period, that's it. We might be at 4 trillion in June, July, August, and then we will rip to whatever price we go to, and then we will come back down, and we will finish or start 2025, middle of 2025, back at maybe, I don't know, 4 trillion, $3 trillion market cap. So when we talk about these numbers, we're not talking about them forever and a day. We're not saying that crypto is going to go to this price and then stay there forever. It will have a blow off top for 8 weeks, and then it will come back down. It might not come back down to 2.3 trillion, which we're at now. It might bottom out at 3.5, something like that. But we are going to see a move into alt. And I am worried. Is that music still loud? I thought I'd turned it down. Let's try that. The music shouldn't actually be loud at all. It's on minus 40. It's down anyway. Is that any better? Let me have a little listen. Well, I can hear myself perfectly. Unless you listen to me on a headset, that would make more sense. Right then, where are we? 11:55. Now then, we are going to move on to the last article. Now, I'm going to premise this. I'm going to premise this by saying one thing. I do not believe in gamify and Web3 gaming. I don't believe in it, okay? And I don't believe in it for a very good reason. I haven't found one gaming token that isn't going towards zero. There isn't one that I have seen. Now, there will be, in the future, GameFi tokens which will succeed. I am not saying that the entire industry will never be a success. I'm saying that I'm going to probably go through some of these gaming tokens. I'm sure, and I haven't read this article, okay, because it's one of those reaction articles. I don't want to read it before the stream. I want to be honest and give you my honest reaction. I just think trying to make money out of gaming tokens is not the future. A perfect example of this is World of Warcraft. They have had gold in their ecosystem. I don't know how old the game is. It's 20 years old. And the worth of that gold has year on year for 20 years been worth less and less and less. Okay? They tried to bring in a token which you can buy game time with. And that started off being 30,000 gold. Now I think it's worth 300,000 gold. So you've got a 20-year-old game which sets out an example of how GameFi tokens, especially the ones that are emitted by the games themselves, are always going to go down in value. There is no way up when you have, I mean, we're talking about games at the minute that might have 3,000 players. What happens when we have a game with 500,000 players, or 1 million players, or 100 million players? Where does the value come in holding on to those coins? There isn't one at the minute. That's why I've talked about before the likes of Epic Games and Fortnite. In Fortnite, you grind so your next season is free. What's the problem with that in Web3? There aren't enough games. In fact, there aren't any games at the minute where you can grind an enjoyable game to get the next season for free. So at the minute, whatever comes up now, I do not believe any of them, or sorry, not any of the games, but any of these tokens are ever going to be worth anywhere near where they were. Honest opinion. Let's go through them. Axie Infinity was worth a fortune at one point. And then I believe there was a hack, token got trashed, and it's never recovered. And I don't believe Axie Infinity is ever going to get back to where it was. Number one. Sandbox. Total waste of time. Nobody uses it. It's an NFT place. It had its time. Did it sell land with Decentraland? Did they sell land? They have people in there. Again, utter waste of time. Nobody's going to use Sandbox. Nobody's going to use Decentraland. Okay? Those tokens are dead. As virtual real estate becomes increasingly valuable, Decentraland's unique approach to ownership and monetization is a project to keep an eye out for 2024. Bin it. Rubbish. Illuvium has decent gameplay, decent graphics. I know Yikes, who streams, he streamed some of this, or he streamed Illuvium last year and beginning of this year, I think. He really likes the game. That could be one. Is the token going to do well? If it's detached from emissions, maybe. But again, it's the best one so far. Gala Games is, I love the project. I will never hold the token. They do it in a different way. They take your Web 2 games and stick Web 3 technology into it. Or they help you build a Web 3 game. They do it from both angles. They've spent massive amounts of money on getting influencers involved in Gala Games. That maybe have been their downfall. So the CEO and the founder sued each other. I don't think that will ever recover for now, until they get a huge Web 2 game integrating it, and then it might be a success. But the question then is, if you get 100 million people playing your game and you give them tokens that are worth 10, 50 cents a dollar, why aren't they going to sell it? If they sell it, who's going to buy the token? I don't know with game. Gala Games is also up there as a decent one. My Neighbor Alice, nope. Gods Unchained, lots of people like Gods Unchained. The token hasn't done too badly. It's more of a traditional card game than a Web3 game, and card games have done okay in gaming. Star Atlas, absolutely love the project. Think it's going to be a massive success as a game. Don't think the token's ever going to recover because it's an emissions-based token. They need to tie up those tokens. They need to make it so those tokens have to be reinvested into the game. But they're a hope. I do like Star Atlas. They're a hope. But the token, it's just an emissions game, emissions business. You can look at Walk to Earn, Step to Earn, whatever it was called. Again, just it's emissions, and they get sold. There's no buying pressure. So what happens to the price? It goes down. We called out WAGMI Games 2 years ago. They all kicked up a fuss, said we were being negative and fudding them. Coin's never gone anywhere near the price we told you not to buy it at. Splinterlands, again, trading card game, might do well. Not Coin, don't touch it with a barge pole. That's my honest opinion. End of 2024, gaming industry is becoming more innovative. Nope. The projects mentioned is a small part of the innovation and the intersection of gaming and finance. You've just mentioned the top 10 biggest projects. So if they're not in the top 10, they're clearly not innovating well enough. Gaming, looking for innovative ways to make money or an investor to prove promising prospects. Pipeline game, no, absolutely not. Do not touch games. They are not going to work in this bull run. And that is my honest opinion. I am more than happy for people to disagree with me. But show me any game, anywhere, where the token price has gone up. I am waiting. If you DM me, if you message me with a game where the price has gone up, I will be more than happy to look at it. And what I would say, if you were going to use this to your advantage, I would look at shorting gaming tokens. Not these ones, but maybe ones that get in, like Notcoin. You could have shorted Notcoin. It would have probably made you a good return because the price has gone down about 66%. They get built up, they talk the big talk, and then the token tanks. Time and time again. You want to talk about meme coins rugging you. GameFi is even worse because they wrap it up in a game. They tell you this is a great game to play. You play it, you generate $50 worth of your tokens. You think, I'm going to keep these tokens because they're going to be worth something in the future. The price is going to go up. Of course it is. And 6 months down the line, your $50 is now worth $5 or $10. Every single time. Show me a coin that hasn't done that. Anyway, now I have 2 things to tell you. Number one, I am back at 1 o'clock with another stream. I am going to do cross, which I tried to do on Saturday, and it absolutely went wrong, simply because there was a power cut. Killed the stream, didn't bother doing it again. Couldn't do it yesterday, was doing other videos. So on 1 o'clock, in 1 hour's time, I will be doing cross. Going to talk about that now. More importantly, and a bigger version of me. Who doesn't want a bigger version of me? I am a bigger version of me. I've got more hair here than here. You noticed? It's like my head's gone upside down. This is Wednesday, 7 p.m. where I am. 6 p.m. in the UK. You can come here. We will be giving away Mew. It is so far going to be on Wednesday. However, we are about to be hit by storms starting tonight at 10 o'clock, which is Monday night, running into Tuesday. This is on Wednesday. I don't know if the storm's going to be gone by then. I don't want to carry all of our expensive equipment to the studio to do the stream. We might put it off till Friday. But for now, it's October the 30th. And we'll give you some Mew. Maybe 4 winners, maybe 5 winners. We'll divide the Mew up that we've got, and we'll give you some prizes. So that's it. Also, don't forget that the Oracle is back tonight at 9 p.m, which is 9 hours from now. So you'll see the Oracle tonight. You'll see me in an hour. What more could you want? Eh? What more could you want? You've been great. Remember, we stream Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. We stream Monday and Thursdays at 9 p.m. That's 7 streams a week. If we do the stream that we're doing on Wednesday, the chances are I won't stream on Thursday morning because getting back from the studio, we don't get back till 10 o'clock. Getting the stream ready for the following morning, it's a lot of work. So might not be streaming on Thursday this week, but still we'll be doing 7 streams this week. Keep an eye out for the videos. Don't forget to follow us on all of the places you can follow us. And I will see you all in 1 hour's time. Thank you, Thank you, Bluff, for participating. Thank you to Bullish, Tariq, and the rest of the gangs. See you all in an hour.
Come on, BTC.